This morning I'm going to show you a simple activity. There'll be 3 different types, so pay attention to individual goals that I send out today on which one's the better one for your child. They'll be put in the circle, and it will use the colored cornstarch peanuts and a small amount of water. The peanuts I sent out on Friday at the parade, they were in their bag that we passed out. They'll be match the color or sort and compare, more and less. So I'm going to start with put in the circle. I do it on a pan so it doesn't get all over. So for your kiddos, wipe whatever that is off. For your kiddos, you would sit and do it with them, and you'd give them 1 peanut at a time. If you use a sponge, it works really well too, because then they can press on the sponge, get it wet, and then you'll say put in the circle, and they'll put in the circle. You might have to model it with 1 or 2. The wetness just makes them sticky, and so it turns into a glue substance. Put in the circle. And you would help them put in the circle. Obviously, it's about the 1-step direction of put in the circle, but if they figure out they stick everywhere else, that's perfectly fine too. So getting the peanut wet and sticking on the paper, put in the circle, is what we're going for. As I said, be flexible. If they're just sticking them on the paper and they're enjoying the process of getting them wet and putting them on, that's fine too. Working on that 1-step direction works on some good listening skills and hand-eye coordination to fit inside the circle. So all you'd have to do is draw the circle. You don't have to put the words at the top of the paper either. So I'm going to move that one and do the next activity. The next one would be match the color. Oh, look, you have colors on your paper. And let them pick one up. Oh, that's a purple peanut you have. Let's find a purple spot. Encourage them to put it on a purple spot. Once again, excuse me, if they don't match, that's okay. If they're doing 1-to-1 correspondence and just putting 1 on each circle or each spot that has been drawn on the paper, that's fine too. Obviously, working on matching colors, you could model and be like, I have a yellow one, I'm going to put a yellow one on. And if you put 2 circles of each color, you could model 1 and then they could do 1. So you go through labeling the colors and maybe pick one up and be like, what color do I have now? And wait for them to respond and say red. Then you can be like, show me where the red goes. Get it wet and then give it to them to put on a red spot. That's another way of doing it. And then finally, we'll do the last one real quick. This is for older kiddos. So you would give them a piece of paper with bar lines drawn on it, and either you can color the line completely in, draw a straight line up the center where they would stick the piece, or do these scribbly lines like I did just so they know what color goes where. And then you'd say, let's sort our peanuts, or our, yeah, I call them peanuts. Let's sort our peanuts. Start at the bottom and work up. And the reason you say start at the bottom and work up is you're trying to get them to be able to compare which one's taller or shorter. So you're going to really encourage them to make a straight line going up. And then I'm going to quickly do some of these so we can talk about how it will look. Once I get some on. Trying to make sure that, obviously some of them are different sizes, like that purple and those yellows are different sizes, so sometimes it won't be a perfect comparison, but my hope would be that one clearly excels And I think if I look at my tray, I have one that clearly excels. And it's going to be purple because I have the most over here on my tray that are purple. And so you'd sort them. I would try and make sure that when you do put them out for them that there are different amounts. Not necessarily a ton different, but at least one that excels, obviously, with more than the others. And then for these kiddos, you would work on, they're obviously working on sorting, but you could also work on, look, one of these has more than the rest. Which is that? And let them think about it, because it's a new concept that we've been working on before we had the school closure, or the disruption of service with school building being closed, but services being online. And so you might have to help them and be like, let's count. Let's see which has more. So you'd start with the blue because you still want them to go left to right, like reading skills. And you'd be like, 1, 2, the blue has 2. Let's see how many the orange has and count through them. And then the hope would be you'd count the purple and they would understand. And you'd be like, that one has more. Do you see how it's taller than the rest? And talk about the line is taller than the rest of the others. Which one has less? And if you have some, so like, if you have some that have small amounts, 1 or 2, that's fine. But now you clearly have 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then I think there's 6 purple. So that's all you would do. Compare more and less, which one has the least or not as many as others, and which has more, which has the more than the other.